Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Santiago and welcome back to the Raw Food Muscle. And today I'm going to be showing you some of my blueberry plants that I just got in the mail. And I'm really psyched about this one because I'm going to be planting these in my pots. Okay, so all of y'all who don't have a lot of ground to work with, you can still grow your own stuff in your own pots, and I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. Now these particular blueberry plants I got from this place called DeMayo Farms. And the prices on these were really nice. They're like $12 to $15 each one, and they're already a couple of years old. So what I'm gonna do is, this is where they came. I got like 5 of them, and they came in a little plastic bag just like this. And all I'm gonna do is take it out, okay, and then soak the roots. It says specifically to soak the roots for about a couple of hours, okay. And I already have one of my pots set up, and I have some rainwater, but you want to be careful with the roots that you don't, mess it up too much. Okay, now what they do is they put some crystal, some of these crystal moisture things. I'm not sure what they call them, but it basically helps keep the plants moist. See? So that's all you want to do. You don't want to mess with the roots too much. All right. Now all I'm gonna do is put it in my tea compost. All this is just rainwater mixed with some natural rich soil that I put in here, and I'm just going to let it soak for a couple of hours, and then I'm going to go ahead and transplant it into my pots. Now the soil I'm going to be using for this is peat moss 50-50. Okay, so I'm going to be using 50% of the peat moss and then 50% of some natural compost. Okay. Now, I called them and I asked them specifically what kind of soil they knew to use, and they told me the peat moss is essential because of, I guess, the acidity in the soil. So, the one thing I will tell you guys about the peat moss, for example, this stuff is really dry. Okay, I'm not sure if y'all can see that. It's really dry, but you really got to soak it, okay, in some water. Okay, so what I've done is I already have some of this soaking in a little bit of water, and I just kind of drizzle some of the water over top of it, and so that way it has a little bit more richer, moist texture to it. Okay, and then all I'm gonna do next is add my soil just like this, and I'm gonna break this up, and it's got to be broken up so there's no big huge chunks. And then mix it in the soil, just like that. Alright, so I'm going to keep doing this, and like I said, it's going to be 50-50. So I'm going to be doing this, and this is about a 5-gallon pot, and that's the requirement for these particular blueberry bushes. So this is one I already got set up, okay, and you can see my blueberries are starting to grow. Not the actual blueberries, but the plant. I mean, it's still springtime, so they're just starting to blossom out a little bit. And I got about 10, a little over 10 of these plants, and some of them I have them directly in the ground, some of them I have them in pots. So I'm going to be sharing this stuff with you guys. All my blueberry plants have been soaking for about 2 hours or so, and now I'm ready to go ahead and transport them over to all my pots. Now the pots I have set up are mixed 50-50 between the peat moss and the natural compost that I bought. Now, I was going to use some of the other stuff that I have in terms of my own garden, but I only had so much to use, so I went ahead and just went out and bought some. So let me go ahead and show you how this is done. And as you can see, the root is really healthy. And so I made a mistake last year, and I went and bought some blueberry plants from a place that grew them, and the pot was pulled. I guess they pulled the plants out of the ground, and from what I've been hearing, that's not the best way to do it. You want to get it from places that grow them in the pots until they're shipped to their destination, and then they're put into the ground. So I made that mistake, and they didn't grow too well last year. So let me go ahead and put this in. And when you put these in the ground or in the pots, you want to put them deep enough so that the roots are buried in the soil, but not so that this part is completely underground. So, and you want to try to do it so that it's facing straight up as possible, nicely level. And this soil is pretty wet, so I don't need to put any additional water in here for now, especially because the plants, the trees, the blueberry plants were soaking in water. So now we got that one out of the way. Let me go ahead and show you another one. Okay, as you can see here, this is nice. Let's see all the pretty roots. I'm going to go ahead and get a spot in here for it and do the same thing. Okay, now I don't have as much soil as I should on this one. I'm going to grab some peat moss. Now preferably you don't want to do this, because let me show you why. Okay, see, this peat moss is so dry you really have to soak it. Okay, and it's important that you do that, because I made a mistake when I was told to mix it with other soils, but I didn't soak it in the water. Okay, and what happens is the peat moss stays dry. Okay, and you don't want that. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this up a little bit so that the peat moss gets nice and moist. I'm going to add a little bit more water. You see the difference? Okay, that peat moss has got to get moist. Okay, and I made the mistake last year in not moistening my peat moss when I put it in my pots, and therefore, you know, it didn't get the proper moisture in there like it should have. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and I also try to make sure this is centered in the pot. All right, so I think we're good. Let me go ahead and move on to all the rest of my pots and get the rest of them done, and I'll do a follow-up with y'all on a later video. So this is one way for you to grow your own blueberries, grow them in your pots if you don't have the land to do it. So get to it and do it. Alright, I'll see y'all next time on the Raw Food Muscle.